up, folks, and welcome in to another edition of the Babin on the Bayou show. Wait, hold up. Who am I kidding? It's opening day, baby. Let's freaking go. LSU baseball kicks off their 2026 season today. I cannot believe it. I'm so hyped. I'm so ready for today. I've been waiting for it for so long. If you don't know me, I eat, sleep, and breathe LSU baseball, and it's finally here. It's like a second Christmas day has come. It's like today is a second December 25th, and I am so pumped. I'm so jacked to watch the Tigers play and get on the diamond in Alex Box Stadium today for the first time since winning the national championship last June. Again, the game is today at 2 p.m. against the University of Milwaukee. Can't wait for today and a full weekend of college baseball action in Alex Box Stadium. I got surprised with tickets for the game tomorrow, so I will be in Alex Box Stadium tomorrow for the Saturday game against Milwaukee. I cannot wait. Look, folks, this is going to function as basically a pregame show. We're not going to cover women's basketball, football or anything else. It's just baseball. I'll just go quickly. I don't plan for it to be as long of a show today because I want to get out of here and I want to, don't plan for it to go longer than like 20 minutes. I want to just give you some of my headlines, some of the things I'm going to be paying attention to the most coming in to this weekend. Again, let's recap the schedule. So today, first pitch against Milwaukee is at 2 o'clock. And then on both Saturday and Sunday, LSU plays Milwaukee again at 1 p.m. Both Saturday and Sunday. And then they also play Kent State in a game on Monday afternoon in the box at 3 p.m. as well. But let's get into some things that I'm looking at going into this weekend real quickly. So the top headline for me is we'll talk about a little bit about Jay Johnson's announcement yesterday. Jay Johnson, in his time with the media yesterday, announced what the starting rotation is going to be Friday through Sunday. So today, Casey Evans will be the starter. Tomorrow, Saturday, Cooper Moore will be the starter. And then William Schmidt is going to get the start on Sunday. So I'll give a little bit of my thoughts. And that, obviously, I've said before, and everybody knew it coming into the season, that Casey Evans was going to be the Friday night guy, the ace for this pitching staff after a phenomenal freshman season. And look, Casey Evans, he's ready. He's ready for this moment. Obviously, it's a transition from going from, he was a closer, really. He was your best reliever out of the bullpen, really, for a majority of the season last year. Now, he did have a few starts late in the regular season in SEC play. He had that really good start on that Sunday game against Tennessee in the box. He started a game against Texas A&M. So he had a couple starts, but mostly he functioned as a reliever. But we all knew coming into this that Casey Evans was going to be bumped up to a starter this year. And Jay Johnson talked about that yesterday. He said Casey Evans came here as a starting pitcher. He came here as a starting pitcher, so it is an adjustment, and it's going to be an adjustment for Casey Evans, obviously, because now he's the guy. Now he's in that Cade Anderson role. That Cade Anderson, now I'm not saying you got to be as good as Cade Anderson, because Cade Anderson was, oh my gosh, he was so great last season. I mean, he ended up being the number 3 pick in the MLB draft by the Seattle Mariners. But look, I mean, when you talk about it, we knew Casey Evans was going to be the guy. I'm excited to see Casey hit the mound today and assume that role as the top guy on this pitching staff. We kind of knew, I predicted also that Cooper Moore was going to be the Saturday starter. Again, he was the ace at Kansas last year through 85-plus innings as the ace, as the number 1 guy for the Kansas Jayhawks in the Big 12 last year. He was a second-team All-Big 12 conference selection. It may not be overpowering stuff in terms of velocity. He's got a mid to low 90s fastball, but he throws a ton of strikes, got a good pitch mix, and again, Cooper Moore is the most experienced starter on this team. Cooper Moore from Kansas is the most experienced starter on this team, so he's the guy that you're looking at too. He's been here and done that before, and he knows what he's doing because he did it last year for Kansas. And then the guy I called yesterday, and the guy I've been calling the wild card on this team, and that's William Schmidt. And William Schmidt probably has the best pure stuff of any pitcher on this team. The problem for him last season, I mean, he went 7-0, started 6 games as a freshman last year, and he was pretty good in a bunch of midweek starts. But, he struggled with command at times for sure as a freshman. I mean, in 2 innings of SEC regular season play, he walked 11 batters. So the question for him is, has his command improved going into his sophomore season? If it has, he can be one of the best pitchers on your staff, a week in, week out starter for this rotation, for this team, and a guy that you look at as being one of the leaders on this team, because again, he probably has the best pure stuff of any guy on this team. But if you can't throw strikes, then your role's gonna be diminished, because you got to be able to go out there and pound the strike zone. So I'm interested in seeing William Schmidt. I think that's the guy coming into this weekend for the pitching staff that I am most interested to see, because I think if he can assume the role as a week in, week out starter on the weekends for LSU baseball, because of all the stuff that he has, and if his command is better, watch out. I mean, we know this pitching staff is elite, it's deep, it's talented. There's many, many guys that could have had an option here, but Jay Johnson is ultimately going to go with William Schmidt in week 1 on Sunday, weekend number 1 on Sunday. So I'm excited to see Schmidt out there, and he's one of the guys that probably, up there in the top guys. I'm interested in seeing how he performs in this weekend role to start the season. I'm excited to see some national champions return to the diamond. I mean, we've talked about it before, but you have experience returning. You have your whole outfield, minus Josh Pearson. You pretty much have your whole outfield back from last year in Derek Curiel, Jake Brown, and Chris Stanfield. And I'm excited to see those guys get a warm welcome after an amazing national championship run in 2025. I'm excited to see those guys back on the diamond for the Tigers, back in the purple and gold this afternoon. And really, it was a magical season for Derek Curiel, hitting .345 as a freshman in his first year on campus. One of the premier players, one of the best players in the country in college baseball. I think he's a bona fide top 10 draft pick in the MLB draft. I mean, he's got all the tools to be a real, big leaguer one day. And I'm excited to see Derek. Obviously, Jake Brown, who hit .320 for you last year. Chris Stanfield coming back, who you originally, after 2025, after that season, you didn't think that Stanny was going to be able to come back. You thought he was going to get drafted. He didn't end up getting drafted, and he decided to come back and play another season in Alex Box Stadium. So I'm excited to see the outfield back. I'm excited to see guys who were really key parts of that national title team, like Zach Cowan, like a Kason Evans. Also, Stephen Milam, your shortstop, is back, one of the best shortstops in the country, especially defensively, and he was arguably, he was your best hitter in the postseason last year. I mean, Stephen Milam, we've talked about his numbers before in June last year, and also in 2024 in June. Don't forget what he did in the Chapel Hill Regional as well. Stephen Milam, in his first 2 seasons in purple and gold in the postseason, has been an absolute beast. And he's been a monster. And I'm excited to see those guys back out on the field. Again, you have veterans. You have guys who have been there, who have done that, who have faced adversity. During the 56-game grind of a college baseball regular season, right, you're going to face some adversity. This team faced adversity last season. They haven't faced it so far. I don't know if they'll face it this weekend, because I expect them to go 3-0, 4-0 this weekend, coming out of these 3 games against Milwaukee and the game Monday against Kent State. But these guys, I mean, last year, don't forget, they faced adversity. They got swept in the SEC by Auburn. They lost an early season game to Omaha. They lost a midweek game to Northwestern State. I believe they got run ruled in a midweek game by Northwestern State last year. And that team was super mentally tough last year, and they turned it on in the postseason and walked away with the national title. And you have a lot of guys from that team returning. You lost talent, of course, like Cade Anderson, Anthony Ianson, Jared Jones, Michael Braswell, Danny Dickinson. Like, you lost those guys, sure, but you still have your outfield. You still have your shortstop. You still Evans and Cowan. Like, you still have guys that have been there and done that before, and I'm really excited to see them come back out on the diamond for the Tigers this afternoon. I will say another thing, another tidbit I did want to say is keep an eye on Jake Brown against left-handed pitchers this weekend. So today, in the first game of the season, Milwaukee is starting a lefty in Matthew Mueller. So it's going to be early to see. It won't take long to see how Jake Brown performs and if he's improved against left-handed pitching. So I'm excited to see that, see if he has improved, and if he has, watch out for a monster season from Jake Brown, a guy I love. We know he's going to rake against righties, but the key is pay attention to what he does when left-handers are on the mound for the opposing squad. Also, another storyline here, how do your new transfers perform? How do guys like Zach York, Trent Caraway, Braden Simpson, Seth Dardar, Cooper Moore fits in here as well? How do all those guys perform? You have a lot of depth and positional versatility, especially on the infield. I mean, Zach York hitting 328 and 32 bombs in 3 seasons at Grand Canyon is going to be your first baseman. We've talked about Braden Simpson's monster year at the plate last year at High Point, batting 389 with 24 doubles and 22 bombs. Trent Caraway, who hit 6 homers in the postseason for Oregon State last year, breaking the Oregon State record for homers in a single postseason. So you're excited to see all the transfers hit the diamond for sure. Cooper Moore, especially on Saturday as well. You have guys that we'll get into in the bullpen when we cover the bullpen a little bit later. But I'm really excited to see how all these transfers perform. And again, when you talk about the infield, you talk about positional depth. And I think positional versatility as well. So outside of these guys, you think York's going to be your starting first baseman, Caraway at third, obviously Milam at short, Braden Simpson or Seth Dardar at second base, I would think. But you also have Tanner Reeves, I'm sure will get some action. Maybe John Pearson also gets a little bit of action this weekend as well. So you have a lot of guys who you're going to see, and you're going to see some action. But another storyline is, how do the transfers perform? Another storyline, Cade Arambede's jump from freshman to sophomore year. Obviously, we've talked about it. He was the fall ball MVP according to the staff and according to Jay Johnson in terms of quality at bats. Excited to see Cade Arambede step into the role as the starting catcher on this team after sitting behind Luis Hernandez for a majority of the season in 2025 as a freshman. But again, he was great in the fall for the team and really good in preseason scrimmages. So I'm excited to see his jump from freshman to sophomore year. Like I said, we've seen jumps from year 1 to year 2 for many guys. We saw it from Cade Anderson last year. Cade Anderson was mainly a midweek starter as a freshman, and then as a sophomore, he was one of the best pitchers in America, and he was your ace, and he ended up becoming a top 3 draft pick in the MLB draft. You're also looking for freshman and sophomore jumps from guys like Maverick Rizzi and William Schmidt as well, and Cooper Williams could also fit into this, the lefty as well, who I thought could have an opportunity to start this weekend. He's not going to, but I definitely think Cooper Williams will factor in for this team this season. I'm interested in seeing when Cooper Williams hits the mound as well. So another storyline is the jump for some of these guys like Arambede, Rizzi, Williams, Schmidt, like guys like that, the jump from freshman to sophomore year. On the bullpen, keep an eye on guys like this bullpen is deep. You have a lot of guys. I'm excited personally to see Gavin Guidry back on the mound after we didn't get to see him in 2025 because of a back injury that cost him his season. He was a big part of the team in 2023, was a closer in 24 as well. Not getting him to play last season, but he looked great in fall practice, and he looked great when I got to see him in some preseason scrimmage action as well. So I'm really excited to see Gavin Guidry back on the mound. Obviously, Cooper Williams. Obviously, Maverick Rizzi is a guy I'm really high on. I mentioned him yesterday as one of my breakout pitchers that I'm really looking at. I think Maverick Rizzi has a ton of potential to be a dominant force really out of the bullpen for this team in 2026. Keep an eye on Devin Sheeran as well, who throws really hard. He's a really good righty as well. You also have a returning Zach Cowan, who with Case and Evans, they were your best two bullpen arms last season for a majority of the year in 2025. So keep an eye on Cowan as well. Really, who fills that role of, obviously Zach Cowan is back and Case and Evans is back. But now that Case and Evans is a starter and Zach Cowan can, be back in this role again, potentially this season, but you really had a two-headed monster out of the bullpen last year in Cowan and Evans. It'll be interesting in these first couple weeks of non-conference play to see who assumes that role, because you have a ton of options here, but behind the guys we've already mentioned. I mean, you did also bring in 3 left-handed transfers out of the transfer portal, and Danny Lockenmeyer, the transfer from North Dakota State, Santiago Garcia, the transfer from Oregon, and JUCO transfer Ethan Plog. All 3 of those guys are left-handers. DJ Primo's back. Connor Benj is back. So you have a ton of guys here. I mean, Jaden Newt. Don't forget about Jaden Newt, who had some really good and clutch performances for you last season as well. The point is, this bullpen is deep, and the roles are not defined yet for these guys. When you think about roles, you think about, Cowan and Evans, how they were your two-headed monster out of the pen last year. You think the previous years about the long relief roles, the big, roles that guys like Nate Ackenhausen featured, on the team in the past. And then Griffin Herring, think about the role Griffin Herring had on the team, really in that long relief role as a guy who could come out of the pen and really eat up innings on this staff, 3-4 innings and eat up innings for the staff. Think about guys who can do that. So you have a lot of options here. I'm excited to see, again, Guidry back. I love Gavin Guidry. I love his competitiveness. Super competitive guy. Excited to see him back, and excited to see this whole team back and take the diamond. And then the last storyline I wanted to pay attention to is the freshman that you brought in. I've mainly talked about 3. Reagan Ricken, the righty, could feature in here as well. I think he's going to see a lot of midweek action as well. But the freshmen I've really highlighted are right-hander Marcos Paz, who, like I said yesterday, if he wasn't 18 months post-Tommy John surgery, probably wouldn't be in college baseball right now. He probably would be on a minor league roster. And then you also have, Mason Braun, who was the top-ranked first baseman in America coming out of the high school signing class in 2025. Omar Cerna Jr. at catcher, the freshman who at one point in his high school career was a Texas High School Player of the Year. So really, you have some freshmen who I think it's an experienced team. You have a lot of veterans, a lot of guys you're bringing back from last year's Natty team. You have a lot of transfers who have done a lot of good things at their previous college stops. But there are a few freshmen who I think, especially in non-conference play in these first 4 weeks, are going to get opportunities. So I'm excited to see Mason Braun get his first plate appearance in a Tiger uniform. Omar Cerna Jr., Marcos Paz, Reagan Ricken, guys like that are guys I'll be paying attention to, because they could assume roles for this team this year, and they're definitely going to be key pieces of this team for years to come as well. So I think when you look at it, again, when you look at storylines, look at that starting staff. Again, Case and Evans Friday, Cooper Moore Saturday, and the guy I'm paying attention to the most that is starting this weekend is William Schmidt starting on Sunday. Excited to see some national champions take the diamond from last year, like your outfield, like your shortstop, like Evans, like Cowan. Excited to see him get a warm and welcome reception back with a new year on the Intimidator, with 8 national championships now on the Intimidator. You have the transfers that I'm paying attention to: York, Dardar, Simpson, Cooper Moore, guys like that you're paying attention to. Cade Arambidi, or the jump from freshman to sophomore year from guys like Arambidi, Rizzi, Schmidt, Cooper Williams. What kind of jump have these guys taken from year 1 to year 2? I mean, Derek Curiel fits in this as well, but Derek Curiel played like a veteran would as a freshman. I mean, he hit 345 as a freshman. So if Derek Carriel takes a jump, I mean, he might be the best player in baseball this year, in college baseball, if he takes that much of a jump from year 1 to year 2, because he was already such a stud last year. And then the bullpen, you have a lot of options. Your roles aren't defined yet. I'll be looking in the first few weeks to, I think, about roles and guys who have contributed to this bullpen in past years, like Cowan and Evans as the two-headed monster last year, like long relievers in the past who have been great at eating up innings, like a Griffin Herring role or Nate Ackenhausen role as well. And then the freshmen in Paz, Ricken, Braun, Cerna, how do they perform? Again, you have positional versatility beyond the guys that I just mentioned. You might see John Pearson get some at-bats this weekend. Tanner Reeves get some at-bats this weekend. Again, remember, I'm filming this in the morning. So when the lineup comes out today, it'll be interesting to see who's the designated hitter, who's playing second base, all stuff like that will be really interesting. Again, a left-hander is going to start for Milwaukee today, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But guys, I love LSU baseball, and I'm so pumped for the season. I'm so excited to see the Tigers begin their chase for a 9th national championship in this historic program's, illustrious history, and I'm so pumped. I'm so ready. I'm ready to actually be in the box for the game tomorrow. I'll be at the game tomorrow at 1 against Milwaukee. But again, first pitch today at 2 as the Tigers begin their chase for a 9th national championship. That's pretty much all I have. I wanted to be quick with it. Remember the guys we love, the guys that sponsor this show over at Shield Heating and Cooling, who we love. Remember that giveaway if you call them at 225-46 Bayou, BAYOU today. Call the best team in the business today at Shield Heating and Cooling at that number to take a part in that giveaway that I've been telling you about. Free AC system, cleaning checks for every AC system in your home. If you call Shield Heating and Cooling today at the number 225-46 Bayou, BAYOU, and tell them you heard about them from the Babin on the Bayou show. We appreciate them for being the title sponsors of this show. But again, I am so pumped, so ready to see the Tigers back in action this weekend. And guys, I can't wait for Monday. I can't wait to come in here on Monday and talk about what I've seen, some of my, standout takeaways from the games we saw this weekend. Again, remember the show on Monday will come out. This show today is coming out at 1 p.m. The show on Monday will come out at 1 p.m. as well. Also, because LSU plays Kent State at 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon. So show comes out at 1 today. It'll come out at 1 again on Monday. And hopefully on Tuesday, we'll go back to releasing shows at 5 p.m. But so excited for this weekend. I love LSU baseball. Again, it's Christmas Day once again. And I'm so pumped. But that's all I have for the show today. I really hope you folks enjoy. Just sit back and enjoy this weekend in LSU athletics. You have college baseball back in the box. You have gymnastics that's going to take the floor tonight. So thousands and thousands of Tiger fans will be there to see gymnastics tonight. And then also that huge game tomorrow night, Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. on ABC for LSU women's basketball in the PMAC hosting number 3 in the South Carolina Gamecocks. Gonna be such a fun weekend, folks, but that is all I have for today. Remember to like the video, share the video, tell your friend about the show if they haven't heard about it already. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. Happy opening day, folks. Sincerely, hope you and yours enjoy this weekend of baseball. And remember, God bless, go Tigers, and have a great one.